All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm Crypto Sensei. It's always an honor to spend this time with you. Just wanted to highlight a sponsor of this stream. Uphold is actually a sponsor, and I'm so glad to be working with Uphold. They're one of the best exchanges, I think, here in the United States and globally. I just got recently my Uphold Elite Visa card, and I have been using that to get some additional XRP back anywhere I spend some money. If you're interested in signing up for Uphold or getting your own Visa Elite card, there's going to be a link in the description. All right, let's jump into it. So much is going on around the crypto space and, of course, the XRP space. Let's just check in here with the audience before we get into some of the news. Looks like we already have 10 gifted subs from Husky Tom. Husky Tom, man, you are a true legend, and I really, really appreciate you, man. Thank you. I'll get to that in just a second. Just want to say hi to Peter O'Neill. Peter is always here very early. It's great to see you, Peter. Nicole's here. Let's go, Nicole. I hope you're doing well. And then, of course, Husky Tom. What's going on, Husky? I hope Luna is doing well in your life. She's now laying in the bed in front of me here. We both have dogs named Luna, so Husky Tom and I are coming quite close. Let's see here. Sensei, we are winning, my friend. This is our year. All eyes on XRP. In it to win it. Wayne Smith, man, I love it. Great energy, and I totally agree with you, man. This is going to be just an incredible year. All the things that we have been pushing forward to and participating with XRP, all of the things that we have believed the XRP ledger is possible to do. We're starting to see some of that finally coming to fruition. And man, it just feels so, so good. Let me see here. We got Paul Gaines. What's up, Paul? Great to see you, man. We got the mods here. We got Ariana here. We have LAX here. LAX. I don't know why you changed the name, man. I gotta maybe text you about that. Here's the 10 gifted from Husky Tom. I hope you guys grabbed one of those free memberships. We do release some early content. So if you're ever interested in kind of getting, a Crypto Sensei video on news and information earlier than the general public, we try to release at least one video a day early. Sometimes the team, lags a little bit behind there, but we are trying to put some additional news and content behind that membership wall just for give an extra thank you to everyone that does support the channel. We have a great family of people that work so hard to, when you produce 3 to 4 videos a day and you produce 120 shorts a month, you have a small army of people behind you making sure all of that is possible, working with partners such as Uphold, Decent. I can name off a handful of really incredible companies that I'm just thankful to be partnered with in the space. It's really good. All right, Eddie was saying, what's it? He's saying, how's it? What's up, brother? How's it? How you doing? Yeah, we got some games on Saturday, man. It was so rough to watch Seattle walk all over the Niners last weekend. I guess we knew that was coming, but man, we couldn't move the ball. Oof, rough. Recon says Gemini card here, man. Yeah, everyone's gonna have what they prefer and what they like, as long as you are getting back some XRP on your spending, man. However you do that, that's very important. Love to see that. What an energy. Let's go Gaim the resume. I don't know what you're trying to say, Luis, but great to see you, man. Great to see everybody. So listen, guys, we already have a few hundred people here watching, some on X, some on YouTube. If you're here on YouTube, I really appreciate a thumbs up on the video. It does help me get in front of more incredible people like you. If you are on X and you are open to sharing the stream, I would really appreciate that if you did that. Thank you so much. Jazzabar, great to see you. Happy New Year. Love to see it. Ariana's here. Man, I think we can get started. We got everybody here. Let's get into it. So we did see a new partnership got announced today. Did you guys see this? OMG. Look at this. G Treasury already making acquisitions. You know what's funny about this really quickly before I jump in? I made a video yesterday, right? And in that video, it just came out maybe like an hour and a half ago. And in that video, I was like, wait until you start to hear acquisitions in 2026. I even mentioned G Treasury, and boom, the next day, here is an acquisition announcement. So it looks like Ripple is already making moves While other people are on vacation, the Ripple team has been working very hard over the holiday. And then Ripple's G Treasury acquires Solvexia to revolutionize reconciliation and regulatory reporting. If this is a mouthful, I totally understand it. I just made a video, probably won't come out until tomorrow about this, but I can give you some additional context. Actually, did I not bring over the context? Give me 1 second. Let me pull this back up. I should have, man, I just made this video too. Let me see. Where is it? You know what? Let me get Lexi out. Let me get Lexi because I just did this. Like, yeah, here you go. All right, so here it is. Because this company is like, what the heck do these people do? So Solvexia, and I'm probably saying the name wrong. I do apologize. I'll get it once I hear kind of somebody start to use it, is a no-code financial automation platform that lets finance and treasury teams automate reconciliations, data management, and regulatory reporting, replacing spreadsheet-driven workflows with faster, auditable processes. The acquisition matters because it plugs into the automation engine into G Treasury and digital asset stack, tightening the loop between fiat and digital asset payments, reconciliation, and compliance. The platform claims to speed up reporting 100 times faster with 98% fewer errors for standardizing processes, validating data, and maintaining a full audit trail with multi-jurisdictional regulatory reports. So this is, once again, Ripple expanding their reach and their products. They know exactly what financial institutions are going to need in this new financial era, and they are making moves, man. Love it. I love to see it. So here is another just, 4D chess move. I don't even know how you play 4D chess or 3D chess, but these people are playing a game unlike anything I think we've seen in the crypto space. When Ripple makes an acquisition, they do it because it is strategic and it's going to help them get in front of new customers, as well as give their existing customers the best technology stack in the blockchain infrastructure space. And that is super, super important. Chipper's here. Great to see you, Chipper. We also got Vodkadon here. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry, man. It's great to see you. Christopher, what's going on, Christopher? Great to see you, my man. Even if the info was overwhelming sometimes, but thank you for keeping us updated. Like, it is a lot to keep up. I won't say that I have a really big personal life outside of what I'm doing here, but I wouldn't change it for anything. It's just, there's so many things to understand and know. And I remember when I was kind of early in the crypto space, it was like drinking water from a fire hose. It was just so much coming from all different directions. And I really didn't know what was super important and what wasn't. And, the way that I do research now, it allows me to really highlight the most important pieces. And, I hope it's helping to educate you guys along this journey and really helping you, understand how complex and beautiful the crypto space is, and just all of this financial innovation that's happening. It's just, it's such an important time in your life. We're all, if you haven't made it in life to where you are financially free and stable, and you worry still about your rent, your mortgage, and your bills, and you're always looking for, what is a technology that maybe I can put money into that'll reshape how the world uses that technology. And if I can get there early enough and understand it, maybe I can take advantage of this global transition. And that's what I believe our opportunity is right now with the crypto space, being able to get into the technology before the globe adopts it. And that is where hopefully that we will turn what we have today into a whole lot more over here in the near future. And I think this is it, guys. I really believe that crypto is my key to my financial future. And man, it's just so great to be on this journey with all of you. The comment section is locked up. Yeah, I don't, who's got the comment section locked up? I mean, I can take a guess, but I don't really want to throw crazy guesses out there. The comment section is an important place, and not all comments are great. I sometimes, I look through comments and I see just incredibly beautiful things from people. And then I also see people that are frustrated with maybe a title or the way something is said. And people really make sure that their opinions are felt. And as long as, the comments don't cross the line where it's abusive or hateful, the comments are there, man, with the good and the bad and in the middle. They are what they are. As long as they don't cross a boundary, we're always going to leave that comment section open. And we do have a team that goes through every single video and tries to remove all of the scam comments because, part of creating content on YouTube, it comes with the crypto industry where scammers post all of this stupid stuff. And for a long time, I didn't like the way the comment section looked. And now we have a team that goes through and removes a lot of that stuff just to try to keep you guys safe and add an extra layer. Remember, anytime you see a bunch of comments together talking about any random project, 99.9% of chance it's a scam. So just stay away from any of that stuff, whether you see it. Hopefully you don't see it here, but we can't catch everything on all videos. You're going to see it. I mean, I friends send me like Mikkel's content and Zach's it's everywhere, right? I can name any content creator in the crypto space and there are scam comments. Just be very careful about that. And, yeah, man, crazy. Let's see here. We got Damien says, thank you, brother, for the information. Just read that the Japan just expected XRP as a form of payment. So that's the rumor, right? So the rumor is the Japan Central Bank is getting ready to make some type of announcement, but there's no like physical announcement I can point to from the Bank of Japan saying that, but that is what people believe is going to happen. And I don't think it's crazy, right? I think Japan understands how important XRP is and how important Ripple is. I think Yoshitaka Katao has a loud voice in the banking industry in Japan, and he's been an investor in Ripple and in XRP for a long time. And I wouldn't be surprised if some portion of Japan's central bank has access to or is able to use XRP, but we can't 100% confirm that. Just so everybody is on the same level of knowledge here. There's nothing that we can like point to and say they've said it right now. We are getting hints like this right here. Might be a hint at what maybe is to come. You have Securitize. Securitize has been expanding into Japan, and they said Ripple and at a handshake here, and it says tokenize the world. And so this is on a Paul Barron comment. Big moves in Japan. Ripple confirmed collaborations with financial giants Mizuho Bank, SMBC Nikko, and Securitize Japan. Now, we covered this like last week or something, or 2 weeks ago when we first got this information. It's great to see other channels finally like talking about this. But we were talking about this like what, 2 weeks ago. So we stay pretty ahead of what's going on in the XRP and crypto space. I am always going to bring you at least 3 to 4 videos a day. I try to do 2 videos fresh that day and 2 videos for the next day in the morning. So whether you're waking up in the morning and looking at my content, you're probably going to get the updates from that afternoon, the day before. And if you're in the afternoon, you're going to get all of the updates that I've seen around Ripple, the stuff that I feel is important enough to share with you from that morning. So you're constantly getting the most up-to-date news on this channel. And I'm glad we were able to get this channel to a place where we can provide that information on a very high level. Raz says, what's your thoughts on Plume? I don't know what Plume is. And maybe that's just me not knowing or researching it. I really can't add any value to you, Raz. But I appreciate you asking, man. Yeah, if anybody, if you want to email me, there should be an email in my description. I do try to get back to as many emails as I can, depending what the email is too. Sometimes people send me ideas that they have, and sometimes people just want to say hi, but the email should be in the email there. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Hey, Sensei, Happy New Year. I heard about some real token that will be running on Ripple, but not getting how it works. Next example to Flare, how will we be able to buy and where? I don't know, Attila, what token are you talking about? First of all, let's maybe address that first. If you can give me some more information on what the name is. Ripple has not putting out any token, so just be very careful. There are scams that do come up. Now, Flare is a whole DeFi layer that they're building out for not only the XRP community, but I know that they're going to Bitcoin and other places that you're going to be able to earn some type of yield with your XRP. That stuff's starting to roll out, and we're trying to get the CEO of Flare on the show to talk about those incentives. And so we're going to be working on that here in January to do so. So stop having my camera below my nose. All right. Thank you for the feedback. I'll take a look at that, BD. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, real token. Real token? Is that a real thing? Real token. I don't know, man. Real token. Let me see. Let's take a look here. Real token usually refers to XRP Ledger base rewards token used in the RealFi payment rewards, but real token is also a ticker used in several unrelated crypto projects. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. I'm not going to spend too much time. I don't know if it's a legit project or not a legit project. Just be careful. There's a lot of weird stuff. What do I think about Canton Network? It's a great question. It sounds like the DTCC has picked Canton to tokenize treasuries and other types of securities. There's pluses and minuses there. I do think that early days for that token, it was very hard to get it. Like retail really couldn't get it. It was on an OTC desk. And so a lot of insiders and institutions bought the token early. And now retail is coming in because they need liquidity and they want to build, they need an exit strategy. So I don't love how they did that. But I do think it's a real company building real solutions, and the DTCC is partnered with them. I mean, you cannot deny those connections and partnerships. And I have highlighted Canton in a few of my videos. No ecosystem or token is perfect. I could look at anything and have a few criticisms, but they are building real things and they have a lot of real partnerships and connections. I would probably take Canton Network pretty seriously. Sensei is looking down on us. What? No. Do I need to fix my camera? All right. I guess I'll work. Camera angle looks good. I think we're being a little nitpicky. I don't matter too much. This doesn't matter. The information, the facts, the growth you're learning, that is what I care about the most, right? I will work on the camera stuff, but yeah. Quant is a monster. Yeah, I think Quiet Monster. I think Gilbert Verdian's probably one of the smartest people in the crypto space, and I would never bet against him. I think they're going to be doing a whole lot of good stuff. Sensei, IOTA or XRP? I don't know enough about IOTA to have a really good conversation about this. I know that they are trying to build a whole lot of things there, but I'm just not I don't have the knowledge to compare the two. Obviously, comparing anything against XRP, I know the most about XRP than any other crypto asset. So it's always probably going to be XRP for me, unless something like truly stands out. But anyways, yeah. So guys, so the camera that you're looking through right now is the camera from my computer. When I stream, I'm not streaming through my actual camera that I record on. And so, they're at different levels. The camera I record on is a little bit pointed like directly at me, but all good, guys. No worries. Let's focus on a little bit more news here instead of the camera angle. All right. I did want to show you a few things here. One of the things I highlighted in a recent video is financial advisors finally recommending crypto to their clients. And this is a very big deal that I think people are under talking about or under reporting on. And so let me play this clip for you. There's a clip and a few bits of information that I want to get to. So here, let's play this. Let's play this right now.
Crypto belongs in a portfolio. Where do we stand?
Well, advisors believe in diversification. We understand modern portfolio theory. We recognize that investing is as much about risk as return, and we're looking for ways to add non-correlated assets to the portfolio to achieve those goals. Crypto has proven itself with a 15-year track record that it does exactly that. Portfolios that have Bitcoin are lower in risk and higher in return than portfolios that aren't. So the real question for advisors is, should I allocate, for which clients, to what extent, and using which Bitcoin and crypto products? And the only way advisors can answer those questions is to learn about this, and that's where it all starts with education.
All right, so should they allocate? Yes. Which products, which ones are most popular or seem to be the ones that are definitely in a portfolio? I mean, we always talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Is that something people should hold?
And easily arguable, because between Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're talking about 90% of the overall crypto marketplace. So sure, do Bitcoin and Ethereum, call it a day. And the new ETFs that have been around almost 2 years now make it incredibly easy, transparent, inexpensive, highly liquid, easy to rebalance. So yeah, for a lot of advisors, they'll provide the Bitcoin ETF, maybe add the Ethereum ETF, call it a day.
Do you find it to be very telling that you're starting to see, BlackRock and all these other companies now really showing an interest? I mean, we've had government interest with XRP. Tell me more about that. Does that drive everything too? Because when we think of the store of value, people don't necessarily, it's like a herd mentality. If somebody says, oh, it's now bad, go away, when does a crash come or not? That's not likely.
Well, that used to be the concern, and that was because back in the day, and I mean 3 years ago, that crypto was only a speculative asset. But now, with institutional engagement, the advent of blockchain technology, people are beginning to realize that we're talking about massive improvements in the way commerce operates on a global scale.
You know what I find interesting about this guy? He's sitting there talking about Bitcoin, right? And then, he's talking about financial innovation and how institutions are going to come in and use the technology. They're not coming in to use Bitcoin for anything, right? Let's just be clear on that, right? Stablecoins, absolutely. Solana, Ethereum, XRP Ledger, Stellar, Chainlink, that's the real infrastructure. Bitcoin is a speculative asset that people speculate, is it going to go up and down? We're really focused on the utility. So I just thought that was kind of, he owns probably a lot of Bitcoin. When someone specifically talks only about Bitcoin and Ether, they are the two biggest assets. Doesn't necessarily mean they will be the two biggest assets going forward. I think once utility kicks in, people are going to be pretty shocked. But what I wanted to highlight here is this part. U.S. advisory money. SEC registered investment advisors in the U.S. now oversee $144.6 trillion in client assets. The reason this is important is if these financial advisors are finally telling their customers, you should be putting a few percentage of your portfolio in crypto, that could be trillions of new dollars of investment coming in through products like ETFs and indexes into the crypto space. And that could be a huge boom over the next few years. And that is something that is really exciting. Even if you took only like 2 to 5%, you're talking about anywhere from, 2 to $6 trillion. If you're talking about a larger percentage, like 10 or 20%, you're talking about 15 to $25 trillion could come into the crypto space through these products. Younger investors are looking at crypto over traditional assets. That's why all the traditional asset managers are finding ways to tokenize stocks and bring them on chain. They need to go to where the investors are. And currently the younger investors are more interested in the crypto market. All right. There was a few comments I saw when I was playing the clip. One was about Ledger. And so let's just talk about that really quickly. How do I feel about Ledger? And is there another wallet that I would suggest due to the fact that they had security breach? So Ledger has had some issues protecting personal information from their customers, whether it's email addresses, your name, whatever it is. I don't know why they cannot not have these problems, but I've seen a few times where people's data has been released. And it's frustrating. And I hear that. Now, when you're talking about, the key point here is their physical hardware wallets didn't have an issue. That would be a catastrophic event. So that is good. It sounds like some of the third parties that they work with that store some of the customer data, that's where the issue lied. But if you're talking about a different wallet, Decent, Tangem, Zamin, IllyPal, there's a lot of other wallets that people talk about every time I stream. I would recommend taking a look at some of those. Now, so another comment here was between Iran and Venezuela and crypto. I don't really think one thing has anything to do with the other. I know that there's been some content creators talking about how the U.S. is going to take Venezuela's oil and all of these things. I don't think those people have really done the research to understand how big of a problem that is. These are my personal thoughts here. When the military operation that happened, whether you're for it or against it, that was pretty well thought out and done. To not have any casualties on the U.S. side, I mean, that was pretty impressive. I heard that they trained for months to do that. Now, when you remove the president of Venezuela, Maduro, and his wife, you still left his whole administration there. So the vice president, his whole chief of staff. So the people that we're saying are the problem are still running the country, right? And if you're talking about going in and taking Venezuela's oil, that's still Venezuela's oil, right? Whether you think it should be the US's or not, it's still their sovereign oil, right? And that's a whole different conversation. It would take over 10 to 20 years to rebuild the oil infrastructure. And Venezuela oil is actually pretty thick. From what I understand, it's not really used for like cars and things like that. It's more used in like asphalt. And so I was looking at numbers. I was hearing from people that are much more knowledgeable about how much it would actually cost to go in and actually set this up. You're looking between $100 and $200 billion investment. And so you start to wonder what company is going to want to invest billions of dollars when we've kind of already seen this in history, right? There was U.S. oil companies that invested in a bunch of infrastructure in Venezuela. Then the country, went a different way. And a lot of those companies had to write off tens of billions of dollars in losses. Now, those companies already wrote off those losses. They can't just come back and say, hey, that's our infrastructure. That's a done deal. So are we going to spend another 2 decades rebuilding the infrastructure? I personally don't think that's a viable option. You don't really have control of the country. You don't have boots on the ground. I don't think that's probably a great strategic move on the US's part. We've just spent 2 decades in something like this. You don't want to be responsible for feeding 35 to 40 million people that live in Venezuela. And I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. You can agree or disagree with my thoughts. That is totally fine. What's going on in Iran? That does seem to be a growing problem. I was just watching a video before I came on here with protests sparking all over the country. I don't know if the current government there is going to be able to get a handle on there. I know that poverty and starvation is a huge growing problem. And I don't think in my lifetime, or at least in my lifetime that I've been paying attention to this stuff, that I've seen riots and people taking to the streets as they are right now there. So I have seen some things where the U.S. has been moving globe masters and different infrastructure in place in case something were to happen there. I don't really know how that's going to unfold, guys, and I don't think anybody really does. But there you go. You wanted my opinion. There's my opinion. All right. Sensei, what are your thoughts on DXRP? A new DEX about to launch on the XRP ledger. I don't have any thoughts, man. The XRP ledger has a built-in DEX. There's going to be a lot of these like DeFi projects. Just be careful. I can tell you from my history in investing into projects in the crypto space, a lot of promises are made. Projects usually have a problem with a runway, which is money to support the project over a long period of time. Promises are made on, the technology is going to do X, Y, and Z, and sometimes it doesn't do X, Y, and Z. They have a problem. Some projects have problems building communities, and just be very careful, guys. You only have so much to put into the crypto market. I think there's so many incredible assets, and when you start to go to where people really aren't, you are taking on a lot of risk. And I used to invest in a lot of this type of stuff. And I've since in the last few years moved away from that and really just focusing on the main things that I think are still be here in 5 to 10 to 20 years. And that's where any new money that I'm investing in the crypto space usually goes to the the XRPs, the chain links, the ADAs, the H bars, the XLMs. I mean, the flares. There's just so many good assets right now that I think are going to be hugely impactful. To go off and invest in something that doesn't have a community built around it, that is offering promises, I'd rather just not participate in that right now personally. DAG, you know, I haven't followed up enough on what DAG's been doing recently. I can tell you that I was at like a DAG conference it was 2022. I drove up into Southern California, and I was literally sitting in front of the founders of DAG. I met there was like 3 of them there, and it was actually it was the person that used to be in charge of all the technical stuff at DAG. I can't remember his name because it's been so long. I can tell you the founders are incredibly smart guys. You know, they're on a mission to be successful. I just don't have a lot of current data to provide value to you for that question, but I can tell you that they are serious people. And when I met them, I was very impressed with what they were saying. Let's see here. You are correct about the heavy crude that comes out of Venezuela. There's only 2 refineries in the US that can process heavy crude. Yeah, like I think people don't quite understand the infrastructure that would need to be built out to support that. And, you know, there's a lot of like, if this happens, if that happens, realistically, who's going to invest 100 to 200 billion dollars into the infrastructure, right? Who's going to want to take on that risk? If you ask any oil company like a Chevron or Exxon or Shell or whatever, are you interested in investing billions of dollars down in Venezuela? I'd imagine that a lot of them would probably say no, realistically. That's just a ton of risk. And I mean, you got to understand, like, this is the policy for the US right now. Donald Trump is president for another three years, and basically another 3 years and maybe 3 weeks, right? And who's president after Donald Trump? Is that a Republican or is that a Democrat? Regardless of it's a Republican or Democrat, are they going to have the same policy towards Venezuela as the current Trump administration does? If they don't, and they take a complete opposite view, now you've invested billions and you might never see a return. I don't think it's a viable option. And the people that are telling the community that it is a viable option, I don't think they know what they're talking about or haven't done enough research, personally. But yeah, we looked this up last time. Like, Venezuela produces 1% of global supply of oil. You know, right now there is a blockade of Venezuela, and you have a lot of the shadow tankers from, you know, Russia and China and things like that. I don't know, man. It seems like a situation that could become more unstable as days go on. And, you know, at the end of the day, there's millions of people in Venezuela that are just wanting to live their lives. And, you know, if the US were to block food supplies or things like that, that could turn into a catastrophe of unimaginable scale. And those are the things that I worry about. And, you know, I just, you know, I worry for that. I worry for that. Yeah, I think you're right here. Fox Sake says, Fox says, I personally think that the removal of the Venezuelan president was more about disrupting China and Russia than it was about oil. I think you're probably very correct on that. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree with you. Yeah. What do you think OTC will stop? So OTC will never stop, right? OTC, I mean, that's their job, is to have a market for institutions to buy and sell crypto on large scales. The real question is, when will they run out, right? They won't ever stop, because if there's institutions that want to buy, that's a market. And so you need that to have a fluctuating market, positive and negative. And so when will they run out of XRP? I think that's the real question. That's a great question. It does feel like we're close to what was it? Last time I looked, let's take a look at the numbers here. XRP ETF tracker. I mean, we had another great day today. It was like 59 million. Look at that, $59 million. Incredible. $2.30, almost $1.8 billion in total into XRP ETFs, and almost 800 million XRP locked up through these ETFs. Now, if more ETF providers come forward and need to see those ETFs, obviously at some point there needs to be a breaking point with price. You can't just keep soaking up hundreds of millions of XRP weekly and not affect the price ever. The real question becomes, how long is that going to take, right? And how much really did the OTC desks have before that? Now, the price jump from XRP over the last 48 hours, that could have been some OTC re-upping, buying from exchanges. We really don't know what's going on there, but it does feel like sooner or later you are going to see a surge there, and excited to see that, man. Your phone shows 68.4. So yesterday was 64 yesterday was like 64 point something. I think this is tracking spot, right? So here's index funds, 8 million, and then 59 million. So I don't know if it's combining different funds, but this is Bitwise, Canary, Franklin, Grayscale, Rex Osprey, and 21 shares. This is what it's tracking. This is just tracking the spot ETF flows. So I don't know what numbers you're looking at, but I'm just trying to go over what I know to be from the tracker. All right, could be off a little bit, but I think it's pretty accurate, man. Sensei, will Ripple be able to comply with the 20% rule? So yeah, we got to wait, right? Like, so if you're not familiar with what Big Kahuna is talking about here, in the House bill, the Clarity Act that went over to the Senate, in that bill, there's something about crypto asset being decentralized, and a company or founders of the company not owning more than 20%. And so if that were to get passed in the Senate with that exact language, then we're going to have a conversation about what that looks like. But right now, until you have a bill voted on from the Senate that's passed through, I think we're just kind of guessing what could still be in the bill. Obviously, things could change from the House to the Senate version, and they haven't spent this much time to just pass the House version. I believe the Senate has made some modifications. That's what's maybe taken this amount of time. So we're going to have to see what those modifications look like. Now, if we can kind of do what happens if it does get passed and the 20% rule is in fact, Ripple is going to need to disclose maybe who owns some of the escrowed XRP, right? Because we don't know if the escrowed XRP is already spoken for. We've heard from David Schwartz that some of those wallets and escrow can be bought, by an institution. Have those deals already been made? Do those deals still need to happen? That is going to be the question of the century. And I'm looking forward to digging into that, man. Husky Tom for Luna from Luna. I appreciate it. Give us 1 minute hard thoughts on XRP, Flare, Wormhole combo, and possible collab. Sorry, got to make you really think on this one. Love you. Love you. Ready, go. Listen, Wormhole is very important for interoperability, right? And Wormhole has some pretty big connections, BlackRock and all these different things. I think Flare, well, here, let's take this in pieces, right? Obviously, there's a lot of things happening with XRP. When you can use Wormhole to bring XRP to other layer ones or layer twos that have significant volume on them, you're basically locking up XRP. You're creating maybe a wrapped or a different version on other chains. That's going to increase how much XRP and RLUSD are being used across all of those networks. Some networks are better than others at different things. And so if we can have more XRP on other networks, that's really an incredible thing, because now you're going to even reduce even more of that circulating supply and lowering that, which the price should reflect, right? Now, Flare, I've heard a lot of really incredible things that Flare wants to do. I've heard them wanting to lock up 5 billion XRP, 5% of the entire supply. Can they do it? I think you probably shouldn't bet against Hugo Philly and what the Flare team has done. They have been working on this infrastructure for years, and they are finally putting it to the forefront. Usually when some of the stuff with Flare opens up, it's usually gone within minutes. So I think they've been really testing it. I know institutions are waiting for some different products with Flare. A lot of institutional investors or corporations, whatever, hold XRP. They are going to want to put that XRP to good use. Flare with Spark Dex. There's a few other things that are happening here. Mainly, they're going to want insurance on some of the things that they're doing when they're locking up this XRP to have that extra bit of security and safety. But I think this combination of the three is going to be very powerful in the days to come. And I'd imagine there's going to be more announcements. Thank you, Husky Tom. I hope that was a good enough answer for you, bud. Let's see what else we got here. I didn't hear that. No, 600,000 is a lot, right? The US is only supposed to have what, 200,000? That would be pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't imagine they have that much Bitcoin, man. Like, how much would that be? 600,000 Bitcoin? That's hold on. Times, let's just call it 95,000. 57 billion? I don't know, man. I don't know what's possible and what's not, man. I did see a comment here. R.I. Williams talking about what's your knowledge on economics? Jake and Versan go deep into the overall global economy. You seem to just rely on their information. You of late put thumbnails and headers and clicks. Be authentic. I appreciate your feedback, R.I. And I thank you for sharing that with me. If you're getting more value on Jake's channel or Versan on the economic side, I definitely recommend watching them and doing what you need to do. We only try to go with facts based on this channel instead of kind of the fantasy and the promises. I can't really, I don't have any NDAs or anything like that. So I really cannot, tell you, I don't know what to say, man, but I appreciate your feedback and I'll love to better understand that. Thanks. Yeah, guys. So ChatGPT is really kind of like, people are feeding it information. You really need to look at where it's pulling the information from. Usually when you search something on AI, it gives you the sources that the information came from. I would just probably double check those sources and make sure. But thank you. You're doing great. You have a community in Hawaii. This isn't like the landers. Keep up the good work. Jason, I appreciate you, man. Are you here in Hawaii, Jason? Quick question, When Moon. Listen, I'll leave the predictions to other channels. I think they will keep making predictions. I'll keep reporting the facts as I know them, and I hope that's good enough for the community, man. This is an interesting question. Right? This is an interesting question. What happens? Right? I guess you'll issue refunds, and what that's going to look like probably will be chaotic, and I'd imagine it'll take years to unravel. I don't know, when are they supposed to make a decision on that? I was listening to some of the arguments as it was happening, and it didn't sound like they were buying what the Trump administration was selling on those arguments around his power to use emergency powers to issue the tariffs. I think there's been 600 tariff policies in the last year. So I would imagine if you're a company and you're trying to plan ahead, right? Because you and I, we live in the moment, right? We probably plan ahead when we're going to dinner and, we're trying to plan maybe weeks or maybe months ahead on a vacation or something. Corporations and companies are planning years ahead, sometimes even decades ahead. And when they don't really have clear rules and how much things are going to cost, that issues some complications, right? And so it would probably be good to have just one blanket policy so everyone understands what it's going to be, and that way it doesn't keep changing. But I don't know, man. It's going to be a very interesting, decision, and we'll see, man. Yeah, guys, listen, you should be getting your information from a lot of sources, right? Just understand that, you know, not all information is the same. I like to cover what is said in the XRP space by by Jake and by Verson and by Zach and by as many people as I can, because I want to listen to what their opinions are, and then I want to look at like what are the facts that I know right now, right? Like I can only go with what I can prove. And that is the standard that I have set on this channel, and that is a standard that I am not going to come off with. Like I believe that XRP and other crypto assets will have a much higher value. How long that's going to take, that is something that I really don't know. And I don't think anybody really knows. And so we can speculate, we can make predictions, but I'll just stick to the facts as I know them. And, we're along for this ride and this challenge together. I just hope that these guys are right with some of these predictions eventually. I'm really looking forward to seeing some much bigger prices. Oh, I appreciate you, Vec. Thank you so much for being a new member of the channel. The Clarity Act is basically rules of the road. It's regulation for the industry, right? But not just for crypto companies, but also for institutions and banks, so they know what they can or cannot do. That's a very big piece of why banks haven't really used the technology yet. Think if you're a big bank, right, or small bank, and you build out something, and you're starting to use it, and all of a sudden that the Clarity Act is passed and that thing that you're using is not legal. That's a huge challenge and a huge problem, right? And you cannot like say, oh, I didn't know or whatever. And so getting that passed will really help to set the rules of the road. Now, once the bill is signed into law, it still takes the regulators a long time, probably years, to enact all of those rules, put what's in the bill, and the CFTC, the SEC, the OCC, the FDIC, the Federal Reserve, they're all going to take the language of the bill and enact the rules. The CFTC and the SEC will be the main ones on that. And I think they've already probably started some of it, but it's still probably going to take some time. Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, listen, I'm open to feedback, and I get it. Not everything we do here is perfect. There are maybe some titles of some videos that I get a little frustrated when my editor maybe takes a little bit of free reign. But you know what? I'm not perfect. The channel's not perfect. All I can do is commit to you to bring you the best real facts around the crypto industry every single day. Are we going to get some titles wrong? Are they going to be a little clickbaity? I'll apologize in advance for that. But at the end of the day, the information in the videos is all based off reality and facts, and that's how it's going to stand. And I really appreciate you guys. So BlackRock, yeah. So there are some different partnerships like BlackRock, Ondo, and Ripple on tokenizing treasuries. Let me see them. BlackRock, Wormhole. Let me see. BlackRock plus Ripple. So yeah, so you have a few different things here we can look at. So you have this integration with BlackRock Securitize, right? Ripple has been an early investor in Securitize, working closely. RLUSD is expanding to layer 2s through Wormhole. I mean, there's collaborations within collaborations here. And let me see, where's the Ondo stuff? Yeah, here you go. Very excited to share that BlackRock's Buildle and Vinex V-Build tokenized fund holders can redeem shares for RLUSD. So, I mean, there has been some definitely announcements. Will there be more? I'm really hoping so, man. I'm really hoping so. It'd be really great. Let's see here. Sean says, keep stacking peeps. Keep on keeping us informed, Sensei. We appreciate the news and daily updates. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Got another new member of the channel. Love to see it. Thank you, XD3. Really appreciate your support. And then look at this. Husky Tom getting his 3 months. Member for 3 months, man. I appreciate it. Your channel is damn near perfect. Info is great. Thank you, Husky Tom. All right, we got Mr. X here. Has this been updated? I just joined TD Cohen warns crypto market structure bill could take until 2027 to pass. I haven't seen anything about that, man. The crypto czar David Sachs just said recently in an interview that he thinks that'll be voted on this year. I mean, excuse me, apologies. He said it'll be voted on in January. Now, I don't know if that's correct. Now, what you might be reading is the rules and the regulations around the bill could take into 2027 to be enacted, right? So what we were talking about, the rulemaking from the CFTC and the SEC, that could take years. So the example here is what you saw in for Europe. MiCA was passed in April 2024. It didn't go into effect until the end of 2025 because all of that rulemaking needs to be done. So I don't know what article that you're reading, but I would look and make sure that you're looking at the rulemaking part of it because that's what I think you're probably seeing. Yeah, there's no real information that we can point to say BlackRock has filed for an XRP ETF. I do think eventually that they are going to come in. Usually what it'll take for BlackRock to move is regulation will probably help, but also customer demand. If their customers are asking them for a spot product for XRP, I think they'll start to move eventually. If you get enough people asking for it, and if you're not providing what those people are asking for, those people might take their money somewhere else. Now, that might be a hard thing to take your money out of BlackRock to go somewhere else. But listen, you never know, right? Vanguard said that they wouldn't ever offer, ETF products, and they haven't offered specifically Vanguard products. They're offering third-party products like, Canary and Bitwise and things like that. But all of these institutions are now moving what they said might be impossible to now it's possible. BlackRock will come in eventually here. When, could it be this year? It could definitely, but we don't have any definitive fact that I can point to and show you that, hey, this is exactly what's happening. So right now we're just speculating. And of course the rumor mill is that eventually they will come. Yeah, I've seen the name. I seen the date January 15th brought up. I didn't really want to get excited on the date until it actually happened. So we'll have to see, Scott. Glad to see you, man. I hope you're doing well, Scott. All right, I do have a few things else I want to show you guys because we are seeing a lot of movement. If you guys are just now joining the stream, if you haven't liked the stream, appreciate you doing that. If you are listening on X, if you can reshare the stream, I'd really, really appreciate that. The stream is sponsored today by Uphold. If you're interested in applying for the Elite debit card from Uphold, you can actually get, I think it's up to 3% XRP back anywhere Visa is accepted that you spend the card up to a certain amount. And I'm really excited to be working with Uphold. I think they're one of the best US exchanges, and they're also have so many incredible things that they're working on. I am right now working on an interview with somebody very high up at Uphold to come in and talk about all of their new announcements and things that are happening. I'm very eager to get Raj on the channel and talking about those things. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Like you can like the debit, the one that I have, the like the titanium card, or maybe it's not titanium, but it's a metal card. It's $99 to sign up for it. But they also have a virtual card that you can do and use on your phone. And it's a little bit less on the reward side, but still, I mean, if you're spending money on just, like I'm spending money on dog treats, right? I might as well get a little XRP back on spending money on the, my love of my life, my dog. Crypto Prince, I really appreciate you. Where's your other half? I haven't seen them. Yeah, we talked about this earlier, Charles. Yep, that's pretty crazy, right? So yeah, I think 6% is that was they had like a promotion. I don't believe it's 6% anymore. I think they've adjusted that down to 4%. I think it's 3% now. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't want to misquote it. I think it's down to 3% now. I think they were trying to get people signed up as they kind of were launching the product, and so yeah. Look at that, crypto Prince is flexing. Thank you, man. Yeah, this I heard this. I heard that there was a cease and desist letter. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not an attorney, and I don't know how that's all going to pan out. I listened to the video that Zach put out, and I think Zach just kind of stated facts as he knew them. It sounds like a very complicated situation, man. And I don't know, man. I just, it's kind of a poison pill, you know. I think there's a lot of people on Jake's side, and I think there's a lot of people on Zach's side, and it really has kind of divided the community. And I think you know, the community right now really should just stop focusing on the drama and the noise and move forward. You know, there's so many incredible things happening. I know as individuals and people, we like to get kind of caught up in the drama, and you know, these are people's lives, and you know, it's tough. I'd imagine both sides is tough, and I just wish these people well and the communities well, and hopefully not too many people are impacted. All right, listen, I do want to talk to you about some stablecoin stuff. We do have, okay, yeah, here's the David Sachs clip. I knew I had this somewhere. So somebody asked me about the Clarity Act. Here is the crypto czar in the United States talking about regulation. Here we go.
The main thing that the crypto industry needed was regulatory clarity. You know, if you talk to like all these crypto founders, they all say the same thing, which is just tell us what the rules are. You know, they had experienced 4 years of arbitrary prosecution during the Biden years because and I think it was less Biden and more Elizabeth Warren was kind of setting the agenda, was they just had an extreme antipathy towards crypto. And with, you know, Gary Gensler was at the SEC and he would not say what the rules were. He just prosecuted people. And it was kind of a regulation by enforcement approach. Well, that's really scary to entrepreneurs that, you know, you're going to find out what the rules are when you get indicted. You know, that's hard to comply with and pretty scary. So the whole crypto industry was in the process of moving offshore. And I think our job coming in on that front was just to make the rules clear, to make the rules fair, make them sensible, and make them clear so that everyone knew what they were, and so that they wouldn't, again, be subject to, you know, to arbitrary prosecution, and therefore they would feel comfortable creating their startups in the United States as opposed to going somewhere else. So that's been our agenda with respect to crypto, and I think we've made a lot of progress there. The president recently signed the Genius Act into law, which creates the regulatory framework for stablecoins. We have a bill going through Congress right now. It's already passed the House, and it's now going through the Senate, called the Clarity Act, which will provide the framework for all the other crypto tokens besides stablecoins. I think that's likely to become law in the next few months. Separately, I chaired a presidential working group on digital assets, which produced a pretty thick report on what the crypto rules should be, and which was kind of a cross-functional interagency report. We worked with the SEC, the CFTC, the Treasury Department, all of government basically to produce that report. So I think we're very close to achieving the crypto agenda, which again is to provide that clarity so that the US will be the crypto capital of the planet instead of some other country.
Man, I thought that was a great clip. You know, it is really important to give the rules of the road so companies know what they can and can't do in the space. And I think that's going to be a huge tailwind for the crypto industry. And man, Sensei, you hit 700 on YouTube a minute ago. Yeah, there's 700 people watching. There's 1,179 because we stream on X and we stream on YouTube. So I really appreciate that. It's nice to see that the audience on YouTube is growing. And it's just nice to spend this time with you guys. You know, man, the days, like I've been getting up earlier and earlier every day because there's just so much like going on. You know, with partners and with trying to get all the news out and record the content I want to record per day. And man, I'm like from like, you know, 5:30 in the morning until like 6:30 at night, 7 o'clock at night. Usually I'm just, you know, enamored in all this, and it's so much fun, man. Chipper says, Tom, this channel is going to drain you. Tom, I really appreciate all the support, man. I don't know what the status is. I might have clicked the wrong button there. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to go off stream there. I swiped that way and everything went away. Oh my goodness. I apologize. I was saying, Tom, appreciate the support, man. If you're in a place to give it, I appreciate it. But if you're not in a place, you don't need to do it, man. I really, really appreciate you. All right, let me get to Husker Nation here. Sensei, once the Clarity Act passes, don't there have to be additional rules written framework? Yeah, Husker. So that's what we've been talking about. Maybe you just joined, but yes, the example I gave maybe like 10 minutes ago was when Europe passed MiCA. It was April 2024. It didn't go into effect until the end of 25. So that's exactly what needs to happen here in the United States too. But once you get it passed, it will allow institutions to still come into the space and start using crypto. Yes, the rulemaking still needs to be done. But the Dodd-Frank Act, once it was passed, it took like 3 to 4 years to get all the rulemaking done. But as the rulemaking starts to come out, institutions can start. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yep. Oops. Yep. Oh, Tracy's here. Great to see you, Tracy. Tom doubles down. He says, life is good. Here's another 10 memberships. Look at that. I'm gonna be having next Christmas. I'm gonna be inviting Tom and Luna to Hawaii to spend Christmas with me after all the gifted. I appreciate you, man. Thanks, Tom. Thank you, Tom. So great question here, Isaiah. 2,500 XRP, just, really quickly, whether you have 500 XRP or a million XRP, you really don't want to tell people how much money you have invested in the market because you could become a target. Just want to, just make sure that you're safe and protected. People, all kinds of crazy stuff can happen out here. It really depends on what you're trying to do with that 2,500 XRP and how long you hold it, right? If you ask me this question, like, will I be rich in 20 years goes by, I'd imagine XRP's price in 20 years would be a whole lot higher than it is today. And maybe that price will get you where you need to go. Obviously, the more you have of something, the more options you have down the future. If it's less money, you can do maybe more things if you have more. But that is a great position to have. And I hope it is enough for you someday. Thoughts on HBAR? Man, HBAR, absolutely. When you're looking at institutions starting to roll out ETFs, you're starting to see HBAR ETFs. And right when you start to see like XLM ETFs, HBAR ETFs, more money can flow into the asset through these products. And I think HBAR is one of the assets I do talk about when I'm talking about maybe like my top 10 cryptos that I have in mind. HBAR is definitely on that list. I think they have a great ecosystem, great partners, great leaders, and I'd imagine they're going to do some good things. We're thinking of, my team and I have been thinking about maybe starting a second channel. And I go back and forth on this, right? I could have a second channel where I talk about XLM and HBAR and maybe a few of the other cryptos that people are most interested in. I just worry that, it'll take me away from the thing that I love and hold dear to my heart, which is the XRP community. But I do think XLM, HBAR, Flare, I think those are all really great ecosystems with incredible teams, and they're going to do great things out here, I think. Hey, Tracy, great to see you. When I clicked on the message, I didn't know it was going to be about that. I just wanted to highlight you and say hello. We could talk about it until we're blue in the face, Tracy. You know what? We'll leave it up. We can talk about it until we're blue in the face. It didn't happen. We kind of knew it wasn't going to happen. I mean, if you were watching my content, I was telling you that I didn't believe this was going to happen. It doesn't mean that he's going to be wrong forever. Eventually, some of the predictions that he has will catch up to the price. And I look forward to that day. You know, that is a very complicated subject. And, you know, I can't wait for the day that he is right about one of the predictions. Husker Nation saying, Tom, I see you're 10 and I raise you 5. I like that. Thank you, Husker. I really appreciate your support, man. Love to see new members coming on the channel. It's really nice to see all the green in the chat. I know you are, Tracy. Great to see you. I hope you're well. Did you have a good Christmas and New Year's, Tracy? Always nice to see you in the chat. Oscar's in the house? Oh, snap. Yeah, Scott's saying stick with XRP. XRP has my heart, man. You know, like just the community, the people I've met here, the companies building in this particular area of crypto. Man, it's everything you could dream of and want when you're talking about technology and advancements and partnerships and news. I mean, XRP community has everything. And I just, you know, I have yet to find another community in crypto that are as committed to learning and growing and just committed to the ecosystem as the XRP community. And just it's the best people in the world, man. What like when you are out in the real world and you bump into someone by happenstance and that person owns XRP, don't you feel like an instant connection to that person? Like you may not know them from anything, but as soon as you find out that you two are aligned on that, it's a special moment. It's a special moment. Like I can tell you that my wife, you know, works at a bank. She won an award for her work. And there was this very fancy dinner with all the bank executives. And we were, you know, there's a bunch of tables and we were sat down at this table. We sat across from this couple and, you know, just saying hi and what do you do? And, you know, eventually they asked me what I do. And I said, I'm a content creator. And, oh, great. What kind of content? Oh, I make, you know, crypto content, XRP. The guy comes out and says, I own XRP. And I was like, what? And, you know, it was just like an immediate, I already like you, you know, you're my people. Man, there is a war going on about free memberships, and I appreciate you guys. Holy snaps. Sveta, great to see you, man. How's it going? You're part of my daily routine. I consider that an honor. I consider that an absolute honor. Thank you. Ultra says, my friend's dad and I love watching you. Well, tell your friend's dad I really appreciate him. Whatever his name is, he's awesome. You're awesome. Thank you. Oh my God, it's out of control. It's out of control. Look at this. So it starts here, right? And then then it's like, hold on. It's this. It's this. It's this. It's this. I mean, it's going back and forth right now. There's a great battle going on in the chat. Guys, if you want a membership, I guess now is the time to get one. There are memberships being given out in the chat by some of our long-term, incredible supporters of this channel. And Sensei, you'll be known as Green Sensei. Hey, that sounds pretty good to me. I am wearing green today. You know, so thank you, man. Can I get a free membership? Oscar, great to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. You gotta get it. You gotta get it when the getting's good, man. See, Boone Outdoor says, in business, I made a few people that own XRP. Why would the banks use XRP? Because the price fluctuates. Shouldn't they be using a stablecoin or something? This is a great question, Boone. I'm so glad you asked it. So you're absolutely right. Banks do not like a fluctuating price, right? And some payments, especially domestic payments, stablecoins are going to be the choice for those financial institutions or corporations. Now, when you're going cross-border or cross-currency, that's when XRP could play a vital role. And so stablecoins are going to be good for stuff. XRP is going to be good for other things. I think you're going to need a good mixture of both. And so, you know, will banks use XRP? I do think so. Transactions happen in 3 to 5 seconds. So you don't get as much fluctuation as people think, right? When you're sending a payment internationally and it takes 3 days, yes, you're going to get a lot of fluctuation. But when you're sending a payment in 3 seconds, there's not that thing where the price is going up or down 10 cents in that moment. But yes, if XRP reaches a much higher, more stable value, that's going to play a pivotal role in institutions wanting to use it. I'm so glad you asked that question. And thank you so much for the donation. Trust of Hearts, great to see you. Happy New Year. How you doing? Deep Dave. Hey, Dave, I remember you, man. How's it going? Great to see you, man. Oscar is the best. Oscar is the best, man. I like Oscar always shows up and shows his support. It's great to see him here. Did you see CNBC state XRP on live news? I didn't see that. Where's that clip? Can you email me that clip? I'd love to take a look here. We got another new member here, 88 Kiffer. Great to see you, 88 Kiffer, and thank you so much for becoming a member. Scott, everyone's asking for a free membership now. I think that's a little bit done here with the free memberships. I think there's been a lot given out. Oh my God! As I say that, another 5's given out. Wow, just crazy, man. You guys are too much. I really appreciate you. Let's see here. We've got a question here from Extinct. Says, do you think there will be some good yield options for XRP in the future? Yes. I'm just curious. Also, I love the content, and you help me stay up to date on everything that's happening in the space. First of all, thank you so much for showing up every day and supporting the channel. I hope you're learning. I hope you're growing. I hope you're having fun. That's the main part, right? And yield is going to be very important for not only institutions but for retail. And this is where Flare or Midnight or other DeFi layers are going to come in. Right now, you're waiting for things to kind of, me personally, I'm waiting for things to kind of get figured out, right? I'm waiting for maybe some more insurance options to come to the forefront, where if I'm locking up a certain amount of XRP, I want to be able to buy a policy just to protect my asset. And that is coming, right? And that's what institutions are going to want. If they're going to be locking up tens of millions or billions of dollars worth of assets, they're going to want that same kind of it's a vital piece of what financial institutions do right now. When you're sending billions cross-border payments, a big piece of that is insurance that the payment gets there and doesn't have issues, right? And so that's going to be the same thing with earning yield with your XRP or other assets. Personally, I would like to see the space a little bit more developed, a little bit more trial and error by others, and then I can feel a little bit more confident knowing that my assets are safe and sound. We got somebody checking in from Ireland. Eric, great to see you, man. I am Irish, mainly Irish. I got a little bit of mix of other stuff. I'm going through the whole ancestry.com thing right now, trying to learn a little bit more, but great to see you. My mom is from Ireland, lived in England. She still has her accent. And so that comment made me really happy. All right, we got another new member here, Bodana63. Thank you, Bodana. Great to see you here. Aloha, Hawaiian boy. Just retired at 62, thanks to you. Oh, I don't think you retired thanks to me. I don't mind my entire retirement in XRP. Hope things will hang off the hollow, brother. Hope this will hang off the hollow, brother. Hey, great to see you, Benny. Hey, happy retirement. 62 years young. You still have some incredible years. These are what they say, they're your golden years. I don't know if I like the golden years, but thankful to have you here and to be on this journey with you. Appreciate you. I love this. I paid and joined. I couldn't get the freebies. I appreciate you. Thank you, Bodana. Look at this. We got R6 coming in with Sensei. Happy New Year, my friend. What a way to start the week. Oh my God. Thank God I bought the dip. Yes, me too, man. Oh, I was telling people, I was like, $1.80 XRP. I mean, hello. Sure, I'll buy some more of this. I mean, people usually sell off at the end of the year for any kind of different reason, right? Usually it's taxes. Sometimes it's other reasons. And then they usually buy back on the other start. And so I was like, yeah, man. I'll take some $1.80 XRP. Love that. Uphold or wait for Ripple Bank. So Uphold, probably. Retail is not going to have an account at Ripple Bank. At least that is not in the cards for now. So when they applied for their banking license, nothing in their application said anything about a retail facing bank. I thought the same thing, right? I thought, like, how cool would it be to have an account with Ripple? And just not right now. Yeah, if there's any commercials on YouTube talking about running an XRP node on your computer, probably a scam. Stay away. I'm not sure how YouTube allows these things to keep happening. It's pretty sad, but just be very wary about things like that. Francis, I am not going to try to read this because I would probably butcher it. Well, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Good morning from Brazil. My wife would probably laugh. Yeah, I'm going to butcher that, but great to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. Elliot, it's hard doing what you do. Props to you. You and Oscar Ramos are dudes. Keep it up. Here's a tip for your pet. Elliot, thank you so much. What Elliot's talking about here is donations that come onto the channel. I usually go and spend that on my dog, Luna. So I really appreciate you, Elliot. Thank you. Elliot, thank you so much, man. Thank you. Doing a great job, young man. Hey, and thank you for calling me young. I really appreciate that, man. We got another member here, Sent Back 1978. Great to see you, Sent Back. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. It is huge, guys. Thank you. Yeah, guys, listen, and this is a security thing right here, you know, just like a public service announcement. Anybody ever asking for a seed phrase, it doesn't matter where you see that they're from, it is a scam. Nobody across any product around anything should ever need your seed phrase. Never give it up. If you get a DM or you see something, assume that that person is a scammer until you prove otherwise. Just do not talk to anybody trying to reach out to you, offering you anything. And if you ever see a message from somebody claiming to be me, it is not me. You know, it is an industry problem right now. You know, people lose thousands or life savings every day by getting scammed. Please be careful, right? You only get one shot at this. You've worked so hard your whole life for what you have. Protect it with everything that you have. Wow, man, there's something in the water today. Blue Mage 21, thank you so much for becoming a member. Man, I've never seen this many people joining the channel at one time. Greg Peterson, thank you so much for becoming a member. Oh my God, there's something going on here. MN Hawk, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, guys, just be careful, man. Like it is everything, right? And whether you have 1,000 XRP, 10,000, 100,000, think about what it could be worth one day, right? It could be worth everything, right? And this is our one shot. Don't let anybody take it from you. And sometimes we are trusting as individuals, and sometimes that trust can lead to just some terrible things happening. So just, you know, always have your guard up and protect what's yours. Okay. What's going on in the market? I mean, we got some good things. We got some bad things. You know, usually what you're seeing right now is you have a big sell-off at the end of the year and people are rebuying back. I think that's what you're seeing right now. You know, half the market thinks we're in a bear market and half the people think 2026 is going to be an incredible year. Either way, I'm going to bring you all of the news and information that I can find, things that are important, things that you need to know. And we'll do this guys. We'll do this together. Let's see here. We got big support on your channel. I'm here with trust and connection. Thank you so much. Motivation hero. Appreciate you, man. So guys, when we're talking about passive income, you probably shouldn't use the word safe and passive income in the same sentence, right? Because anytime that you're using your XRP, you're taking it out of your wallet and you're putting it into any platform, there's always risk. and you need to understand what that risk is. Sometimes that's talking with the financial advisor to understand those risks. And sometimes it's you doing the due diligence that you need to understand what those risks are. When we're talking about yield for XRP, there's only a few platforms I think I'll ever trust. And those platforms are going to be like your Flares of the world. And like I said, I'm going to be waiting for some type of insurance on my on my XRP that I'm going to be putting into those products, just to have a little bit more so I can sleep better at night. But yeah, you should be able to get some yield through some of these platforms. But just know that anytime you're moving your XRP and putting it to use, it comes with risk. All right. I did want to play a few more things here, guys. I did want to show you a few things. We've talked about G Treasury. We've talked about a few things, regulation. Where is this clip here? All right, here we go. I got two clips back to back here. Let me see. Which one do I want to play first? Okay, I want to play this one first. Okay. Stable coins are going to be a very important part of our future. And I think this clip speaks to all the possibilities about what our future could look like with stablecoins. Listen up.
I was very skeptical of stablecoins. This is the thing. Stablecoins have been around for 10 years now. They're not exactly new. I was very skeptical of them initially because I thought they would come into conflict with the state. The state, whether you define that as the United States government or the Chinese government or whichever jurisdiction you're in, money, they are always very protective of money because money is one of their biggest tools. And so when stablecoins first came along, I said, listen, I don't know who will win the battle, but the United States will not just sit by and let stablecoins take over everything and compete with the US dollar. If they wanted to fight it, there's many things they could do. And then when I looked at the initial players in the stablecoin market, I felt that they were very sketchy, to say the least, and went down that rabbit hole a few times. And because of what I found down there, I just didn't really embrace the technology. And this is an example of I didn't like the people involved, so I just dismissed the technology, and that was a mistake on my part.
I've done that before.
And the technology is pretty clever. It is a way for it's so long story short. So the U.S. passed the Genius Act, which basically is authorizing stablecoins, right? It's a little bit more convoluted than that, but that's the way we can describe it. And the fact that this is an example of the state embracing the private innovation that the private market developed, and I believe they are now going to use it to further their own power as opposed to losing power to this technology. But it's really a way for the United States to extend the dollar network throughout the world on a much faster, cleaner, more efficient basis. And you can get into a situation where the world voluntarily adopts the US dollar stablecoin as the preferred medium of exchange. And what that does, a couple things. One, it extends the United States power to these other jurisdictions, and it steals local sovereignty from the local government. And so, to me, it's a great stealth weapon that the United States can use as a tool.
So the reason this is really important, guys, is right now most of the crypto market, 95% plus stablecoins are US dollar backed. And so you have countries like Europe that are looking at those numbers and understanding that they don't want the EU to be using dollars over euros, just like as the UK doesn't want people using dollars over British pounds, and Australia and Japan, they want people using the yen. And so you're going to start seeing more different backed currencies for stablecoins. And this is why I believe Europe is kind of pushing forward with their retail CBDC. Whether you like a CBDC or not, the reason they're pushing forward is because they are worried about dollar dominance, right? And we could go back and forth whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess depending who you are and where you live, it's a good thing or a bad thing. But also, when you're talking about the adoption of stablecoins, if you live in a country where the currency maybe is being abused by that particular government, it's being overprinted and it's losing tremendous value, you don't want to be saving in those specific currencies. You'd rather have something more stable like a euro or a dollar or something like that, right? Now, the dollar has had one of the worst years in 50 years, and that's for a host of different reasons, but I'm just trying to say that it might be more stable than the currency in your particular country. Now, in the past, if you've wanted dollars, you usually have to go to a bank or some type of FX place, and they could charge you an absorbent amount of fees. Now that you have stable coins and you can have a digital wallet, it allows you to have those coins a lot more easily and a lot cheaper of a cost. So, $5 or $10, depending where you are, is a lot of money. In the United States, $5 or $10 isn't a happy meal, right? So depending where you live, it can kind of fluctuate whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's going to allow people to start saving in the thing that matters most to them, which is their retirement, in the currency that they feel is going to be best for them. More choice, more options. That's going to be powerful for the world. All right, and then here's the second clip from the same interview. I wanted to play this.
What do you think about the impact of stablecoins under your dollar milkshake theory with just the monetary sovereignty of developing countries? How do you think all of these things are going to interact?
I think this is an incredible tool that the United States can now use. I mean, I think they could, let's just go back to Venezuela again. I mean, I think they could dollarize the Venezuelan economy within a few days, if not a few weeks.
Yeah, but Venezuela's not going to like that.
But what can they do? This is my point. Like, what can they do? Yeah, they can shut down the internet. They can make it illegal, which they will. But it was also illegal to use dollars, in these countries before. Whenever there's a currency crisis, laws are put in place and restrictions are put in place and capital controls are put in place that make it illegal for the rest of for the country to, use another currency. But yet black markets still exist. And the reason they still exist is the motivation to get out of that local currency is stronger than the motivation not to break the law. And I think, and to your point, the technology that allows them to do this with the touch of a button on their phone, rather than going down to the local kiosk or local market and exchanging physical dollar bills, or going to their local bank that may allow them to hold dollars and stand in line to take them out, it can accelerate the entire process. And you can go through the whole entire life cycle in 48 hours rather than 48 days. It lends the potential for the acceleration and the speed with which it to happen to increase. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that it will. It just means that it increases the ability for it to happen.
Man, I thought those were powerful clips, and I really wanted to share those with you. I mean, there's so many things happening right now with crypto and innovation and adoption, and it's pretty cool to just be on top of all of this stuff and to just learn this stuff every day. The way the world is quickly adopting this technology is truly remarkable. And like, we have now entered a phase that there's no coming back from. And what I mean by that is all of these corporations now that have access, let's say, to Ripple's technology, right? To be able to move money instantaneously anywhere in the world when they need to. They don't have to pre-fund accounts. Think about it. When you could take that money, right, that you had locked up all around the world, because if you're a big corporation, you do business all over the world. Maybe you have to get money into Japan or the UK or into Europe, and you need to do currency swaps. And when you're doing FX currency swaps, it could be 3%, 5%, 6%. It could be a lot of money. And to be able to not have to worry about some of those higher fees and to be able to start earning yield on that money instead of having it into all these pre-funded accounts and only moving that money when you need to, 3 to 5 seconds before that money needs to arrive. Think of all of the ways that corporations and institutions are going to use the technology. But what you also have now is you have a digital arms race to use the technology. Because if you're a company that's still using the legacy system, right, you don't have this yield that you're earning on your money when it's not being, used. That is a huge disadvantage, especially if you're dealing with millions or billions of dollars. Percentages add up. And this will allow companies to maybe hire more, pay their employees more, get money instantaneously wherever it needs to go, reduce the cost to move that money, that friction 60 to 90%. I mean, you just have now, you puts everybody at a disadvantage who's not using the technology, and it forces everybody to step up now and use the technology. And that's what we're about to go through. And people ask, like, how do I, why am I always excited, or why do I have this energy? It's because I can see what's about to happen to our entire financial system, and I'm a part of that. You're a part of that, and that's a beautiful thing. And man, it's just going to be an exciting year. It's going to be an exciting year. All right, let's get back to some of these comments here. Funny you mentioned financial advisors, but a lot of them never get approved when buying a car. Yeah, funny, their job is to help people make the right choice when they can't do it for themselves. So, Ronnie, I don't know what experiences that you've had with a financial advisor. It probably sounds like you haven't met the right one. But people are not used to making a lot of financial decisions. And I am not a financial advisor. Like I like the news. I give you my, speculation on what I think is going to happen. But like some people really do need to talk with somebody to make certain decisions, because if you make the wrong decision, that could impact your entire life. And that's the last thing that you want to do, especially when you're dealing with a lot of money, right? And so, when people are asking financial questions, I always say, make sure that you're talking to a financial advisor and talking to one that understands the crypto market, right? Because if they're asking crypto questions and they're not used to dealing with crypto, they're going to give you a lot of bad advice. So having the right person to talk to is very important. Do I know that person? I cannot give you names of financial advisors that, I don't want to take on the risk of doing that. I'm just saying, if you need help, make sure that you talk to somebody, okay? Greg says, Sensei, talk to me about the importance of Amina Bank in Switzerland going live with Ripple Rails. It sounds like, yeah, so that was like one of the first banks, I think, right, in the EU to go forward with it. I think it could be the first of many. I know Ripple has been getting their licensing through Luxembourg, and that's been important. Now Ripple can operate across the entire EU. Having a bank, I think we just kind of talked about this, having a bank that has this instant functionality, this blockchain infrastructure, all of these banks are going to need the same infrastructure coming forward. And Ripple has a proven model of their specific infrastructure, but there's going to be a lot of infrastructure plays that happen, and there's going to be a lot of choices. Beginning of European rush to XRP. I mean, I hope so, man. I don't know for sure. The technology works. It's been working for years. The XRP ledger has over 4 billion transactions, over 100 million ledgers closed, over $1 trillion worth of value transferred since its inception. I think the technology has proven itself, and I think Ripple is a leader in blockchain infrastructure, and I think they will continue to be a leader. For Luna, MN Hawk, thank you so much, man. Luna, appreciate you. I'll make sure to bring up Luna here just a little bit. The Genius Act was brilliant and deviant. Once people start buying RLUSD, it's going to replace the main currency possibly for many countries and banking the unbanked. Thoughts, great content. Husker Nation, I think you've laid it out clear, man. I don't know what I can add to this brilliant comment. So the Genius Act did allow the US to push this innovation forward. And RLUSD, the reason RLUSD is important is because Ripple waited for the New York Department of Financial Services to sign off on it. And that's a very important piece because they are now one of the most regulated institutional use stablecoin on the planet. When you are regulated by the New York Department of Financial Services, it doesn't really get higher than that, right? Because that's a level that institutions must have and trust when dealing with these types of things. And that's why you saw RLUSD go from, a few million to now what, $1.5 billion in about a year's time, becoming a top 5 global stablecoin. And I think they will continue to grow. How fast they grow, that's going to be the exciting part this year. Could it be 10 billion, 20 billion? I don't know, man. But I think you're going to start seeing that really start to tick up as more companies, institutions, banks, etc., start to use it. So yeah, we don't know when it will have passed and take full effect because the rulemaking needs to happen. As soon as Trump signs it, it becomes law, but the rulemaking could take years. I've seen numbers like end of 27. I've seen numbers saying that the start of 27, it's really hard to know until the bill is passed and us getting some more information from the SEC and the CFTC on it. ETF 105 million today. I don't think it was 100. Like, it could be total, but the spot ETFs are the ones that matter, guys. The spot ETFs are really the ones that are going to impact the price eventually, because that requires spot XRP to seed those funds. So I really only pay attention to the spot XRP ETFs. And I think we saw about 59 million. Let me see here. I have the tracker up here somewhere. Yeah, here you go. Here you go, Tracy. 59 million for the spot ETFs. 59 million, 0.48. And then yesterday it was 64 million. So we've seen 110 million in the last 2 days, which is truly incredible. Yeah, Tracy should, yeah, I'll subscribe. I'll subscribe. Is it possible to have a supply? I think you're asking a supply shock before the clarity bill pass. Anything's possible. You know, how long is it going to take for the Clarity Act to pass, right? How much more spot XRP is going to be bought until then? I don't know, man. You know, I don't, I'm not the prediction person. I can only deal with what I can see and what I can prove in front of me. Everything else is just kind of fantasy to me. You know, like it sounds great. I want it to be true. All I can do is sit back and wait. Being in the crypto space for as long as I have, I've seen a million predictions and very few come to fruition. I do think eventually, though, some of these predictions of like $10, $50, $100, I mean, I think those eventually are going to happen. How long is that going to take? I don't know. It could take months, could take years. I don't know. I wish I could tell you, man. Damn, what did Tracy say? I think I need to go. What did I miss? $1K XRP by 2030. I think that's a, you know, that was a prediction by one of the Kwok brothers. I think that's a pretty reasonable prediction. You know, you're going to have a lot of adoption in the next 4 years. That would be incredible, man. That'd be incredible. Yeah, I didn't see the CNBC XRP clip. Is it the one I played earlier? Is this a CNBC clip? No, I don't know. I don't know what clip they're talking about. I think you're already starting to see that, right? I think you're already starting to see that. You know, once XRP really starts utility wise, and I think if institutional investors keep buying it over Bitcoin, you know, I think you're starting to see a little bit of that already. And I think what Paul Barron interviewed Stephen McClurg, and he believes that it'll happen, you know, this year on XRP and some of the other assets. So maybe he's right, man. Chris says, I hope you can buy crypto in Holland. They block crypto. Wow, I didn't even know that, man. That's crazy. I'm sorry that's happening. Caught you before you went off stream. Yeah, I mean, usually around this time, I've been streaming for about an hour and 40 minutes. So yeah, you are kind of catching me at the tail end here. You know, I try to put as much strength as I can, usually towards the afternoon. My energy is a little bit depleted, and so I get a little tired. And so what is this CNBC clip you guys are talking about? Hold on, man. CNBC. Oh,
Bitcoin. It is hottest crypto trade of the year is not Bitcoin. It is not Ether. It is XRP, the coin formerly known as Ripple, soaring more than 20% this year, becoming the third largest cryptocurrency out there, and there's big money behind this trade. Mackenzie Sagalos joins us now with that XRP trade and what, Mac, is driving all of this interest in XRP.
Oh, I need to find the full clip. Okay, all right. Here's the full
It is
clip.
not Bitcoin. It is not Ether. It is XRP, the coin formerly known as Ripple, soaring more than 20% this year, becoming the third largest cryptocurrency out there, and there's big money behind this trade. Mackenzie Sagalos joins us now with that XRP trade and what, Mac, is driving all of this interest in XRP.
Well, what's actually been interesting is that during the doldrums of Q4, you actually saw a lot of people piling into those XRP ETFs, which is the exact opposite of what happens with the spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, where people really move in tandem with the price of the coin. But it was the fact that it is a way to have a higher percentage jump. So people were buying the dip with XRP in Q4, thinking this is a less crowded trade than Bitcoin or Ether. And then that proved out to be true just in the first 6 trading days of January.
We've also talked a lot about the blockchains and the ecosystems that are being built around many of these systems. We know kind of what they are with regard to Bitcoin. We certainly these days know what it is around Ethereum and Ether. What exactly is the big use case or driver? What's the practicality for XRP?
Well, with XRP and Solana, those are the two very popular altcoins right now where you're seeing a lot more interest. And with Solana, a lot of these different forms of tokenization. So we talk about tokenized dollars all the time in the context of stable coins, but now we're seeing a lot of people move into tokenizing money market funds, and Solana has become a blockchain use case for that. And
Didn't they ask about XRP? Why do we talk about Solana?
XRP made its name in terms of cross-border payments. But what's been fascinating is even just this morning, Morgan Stanley, which has been especially progressive in terms of having their financial advisors suggest that clients get into the spot Bitcoin ETFs. They were the first bank to do that. They're now just this morning filing an S1 to launch their own Bitcoin and Solana ETFs because there is an appetite there.
So in the world where Bitcoin has become a bit mainstream, I'm not going to say the boomer that's
okay. Like, she didn't have a great answer about XRP there. Did you guys see that? Did you notice that? Oh man, someone needs to send her my channel. Shut her off, Tracy. You're too funny. Oh man. Oh good. Hey, you know, it's something. It's not where we want to be. It's something, right? Having it mentioned on a mainstream news source like that, that's powerful. You know, could it be better? Absolutely, but it's there, right? And we need to take the wins when the wins happen. It wasn't exactly what we wanted it to be, but it's something, right? And that's where it starts. It starts and hopefully gets better. Oh man. Oh God. Yeah, so if someone needs to donate her a membership, Christopher, that's true, man. Oh God. That's funny. Oh, Husky's leaving. Tom, see you, bud. Thank you. Thank you for the love, the support. Thank you for everything, man. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you on Friday. I'm looking forward to that. That's a great question, Joey. Let's see if we can find an answer for that. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Wisdom Tree Spot XRP launched November 25th. It's not Wisdom Tree, it's another one. Is it Wisdom Tree? I don't know. Hold on, let me see. Where's the ETF tracker? Bitwise, Canary, Franklin. Oh yeah, Wisdom Tree hasn't launched yet. Oh my God, that was too funny though, for real. After subsequent amendments, Wisdom Tree XRP went live, closing phase. No, I don't know. No new information on it. I'll have to look into that. Oh, 97 DJR Junior. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, what's your question, Roy? Yeah, Roy, please repost, man. I love to answer that if I can. Sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of chat, and then sometimes when I'm playing clips, I don't see. Greg, thank you so much for the $10 donation. I really appreciate you. Was there a question or a comment? On Kraken, it went to 94. Someone said, yeah. So, I don't know. I didn't see too much information on that. I think like, wasn't that something that happened like years ago? Hold on. Let me see if I can find an answer for you, Roy. But when was this? November 18th and 19th showed a vertical candle that wicked up to $90. I mean, this is like the Shane Ellis theory, right? That order books are very thin on exchanges for XRP. And if you have a sudden rush of millions of dollars, that the price could spike. I didn't see a whole lot of people talking about that. Let's see here. Sensei, I've been trying to figure out what if a lot of the XRP has been burned. No, it hasn't. And that there isn't a lot left to do all the transactions. No. So Billy, we've done the research here. If every transaction in the world happened on the XRP ledger, every year you'd only burn through about 30 to 40 million XRP. Now you would need some type of amendment change on the burn rate of XRP to burn more, but you're never going to run into a problem where in your lifetime, you're going to burn through enough XRP to make a price difference. In the last 13 years, it's only burned through what, like 13 million or something. So I don't think it's going to be a problem in our lifetimes. Maybe our kids or something like that. Yeah, we just played that, Kevin. We just played that. It was okay. Yeah, I mean, you can say that, and maybe that's true. There's always, any news agency, there's somebody in control of that agency, and they control the flow of information. And depending on what you watch and who you listen to, that information is put into a funnel, and you can have the same story, but it's reported 3 or 4 different ways. So is there some manipulation, or is there a lack of talking about XRP? You could say that, sure. Is there a global conspiracy to keep XRP from people? I don't think so, man. When you're talking about a global conspiracy or something, that's a lot of people involved, and somebody somewhere is going to say something regardless. I mean, I think it's just one of those things that it takes time, and these new, these bigger, CNBCs of the world, they feel comfortable talking about Bitcoin, Ether, and Solana. And it sounds like they're going to maybe start talking about it. So Sensei, a friend suggested trading on a DEX using stablecoins in order to save on fees of the spread. Do you think it's safe? But like, how much are you going to save, right? Like how much really? And is it worth the risk, right? Some DEXs are a lot safer than others, right? But why don't you figure out how much difference is going to be and make the decision if it makes sense to take the risk, right? If you're saving 10 cents, why take the risk? If you're saving hundreds of dollars, maybe it's worth a little bit more risk, right? Like you gotta like figure out what is your risk appetite, and do you really want to take something and go to maybe a place where you have less control? I don't know, man. Like it's all about kind of de-risking in my life right now, and I'd rather pay a little bit of fees and have my crypto and stable coins on a place that's regulated. And like, if something happens, I have some kind of resolve for that. But I get you. I understand. 13 million in 13 years with zero adoption, though. True. But it doesn't change the fact that every transaction in the world happening on the XRP ledger won't burn through as much XRP as you're hoping to. I mean, do the math yourself. I mean, we've looked at this information, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but you can use AI, any AI, say how many transactions happen globally and around the world. All right. And now say if every transaction happened on the XRP ledger with the current burn rate, how much XRP would be burned? I think you're going to be surprised. So, you know, if somebody's selling you stories of high burn rates, do some due diligence. Like it'll take you literally like 3 minutes to search that. You know what? I'll help you. If every financial transaction in the world happened on the XRP ledger, how much XRP would be burned per year or in 10 years, right? There it is. Roughly 34 million XRP would be burned, 340 million in 10 years. I told you how much it was. You got to believe me. Like I've done the research here. This is not my first rodeo with this question. There it is. Greg, have a good night, my friend. Take care of yourself. All right. I think this is about the time of the stream where Luna says hello. Give me 1 second. Come here, Bubba. Hello. How are you? Are you having a good nap? Huh? Did you want to say hello to everybody? Did you tell everybody that for Christmas you got an XRP blanket and an XRP pillow? Huh? Did you want to say anything, sweet pea? Oh, yes, we had a good nap there. Yeah, she's scruffy. Look, we're gonna get a haircut here next week, right? Oh, damn, we don't like a haircut. I don't want a haircut, Dad. You okay? We're almost done here, all right? We're almost done, all right? I know. All right. Go lay back down, my love. Luna loves saying hello. Luna looking rough. I know she was sleeping. She was sleeping. All right, guys, listen, this is the part where I need to go take Luna for a walk. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Husker Nation, Tom. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you to all the new members. I mean, there's just so many to mention. Thank you for everyone that shows up every day to learn, to grow, that supports this channel. It is an honor to spend this time with you guys. I hope you have a truly fantastic day. We're going to be streaming on Friday, the same time. Show up, bring your questions, bring your excitement, and we'll go through it together. All right. Have a great night, guys. Take care of yourselves. All right. Aloha.